Hey, good morning from London and good evening from Sydney, Australia. It's me, Martin Cross, on Crossy's Corner with the amazing Australian oarswoman, Georgie Rowe, world record holder and world championship medal holder. And we are here with you for the next, I don't know, hour or so to talk about all things rowing and how Georgie has plied away in that rowing community, I think, from a surf background. So, Georgie, how's it been for you today? What have you been up to? Good morning.
Yeah, we had a pretty good day today. Training wasn't too intense. Actually had the morning at home on the northern beaches in Sydney. So got up and went down to my surf club and helped out a few of the younger rowers on the ergo and managed to squeeze in a run and a bit of a jump in the ocean, which was lovely, and a few lattes. And now I'm back out to Penrith where we had a gym session and had our own ergo session this afternoon. So it's been quite a nice day.
Yeah, does that almost make you feel human?
I have to get into the ocean at least once a week to feel human. So definitely, it is nice that we have a little bit of flexibility with our program at the moment. We've got a few sessions where you're kind of the master of your own destiny, so you can do a bit of cross training that you actually feel like doing. And yeah, it definitely makes you. I think having a little bit of control over what you're doing certainly makes you feel a bit more human.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I guess you're a woman who spent a lot of time in the ocean from quite a young age.
Yeah. Yeah, so my surf background, I mean, it hasn't. I probably really got into it when I was about 16 or 17, and that kind of crossed over with a lot of my kayaking background. It kind of complemented my flat water kayaking, and yeah, I just kind of growing up near the beach, you just have that beach culture kind of within you. So it's very important to me. I feel very grounded when I'm around the ocean.
So tell us about the kayaking a little bit. So
Yeah.
is that sort of K1 fast, straight lane sort of racing kayaking?
Yeah, so kayaking, yeah, the K1, the K2, the K4. I got into that mainly because my auntie went to two Olympics. She went to Atlanta and Sydney Olympics,
Oh,
and
right.
yeah, her name's Shelley Oates Wilding, and her husband at the time, he was the head coach as well. So Guy Wilding, and they were a huge part of kind of nurturing me in that direction. And I guess she kind of lit a bit of fire in me, and I had that Olympic idea in my head from a pretty young age. Um, and yeah, so Narrabeen Lake is pretty close to where I grew up, and my grandma used to drive me down there in the mornings, and I'd go kayaking, and then I'd go to school, and it was just kind of the way my kind of pathway. I represented in juniors, and then I kind of just fell out of love with the sport because I was
Oh,
really getting
really?
involved in the surf club. Yeah. When I think I was finishing high school, so 10 years ago now, and I really did like kayaking. Like, it was a good sport and there were good people in it, but I didn't love it. And I was having so much fun with my mates down at the surf club. Surf club culture and the community down there is it's so close to my heart. And I just really resonated with that. So I kind of found home there. I had some great coaches that were coaching me on the surf ski and even board paddling, a lot of swimming, and it's kind of found my groove down there. And I really I was at Manly Surf Club, so that kind of became my home for a little while.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I started doing my nursing degree, and I was on a prac down at Manly Hospital, and I was working at Manly Bowling Club, and I just kind of made that my life for a long time. And then I kind of quickly fell into surfboat rowing down there, and that was pretty much my life for a long time. And that wasn't soon after that I moved to Colorado Surf Club, and that's now where I really do call home. Like that, the club down there is amazing. Like, everyone down there is your family. It's such a beautiful club, um, and that's pretty close to my work where I'm working as a nurse now. So yeah, it was a nice little kind of lifestyle that I had going there for a little while until I started rowing backwards and had to come out to Penrith. But it's a good change for me. It's been quite hasn't been an easy journey, but it's been an amazing one.
Wow. So
Mm.
I'm just amazed there. I mean, you talked about so many things that you've packed into your life, um, and just the idea of you nursing at the moment. Are you
Mm.
spending any time as a nurse at the moment while you're training with the national squad?
Um, Short answer is no, but I do try. I'm a casual at my workplace, and I work in an aged care facility, which I've worked at for a long time. And my workplace, it's called RSL Life Care, so it's based around war veterans, and I love that. We're kind of running out of war veterans now, but they're the younger ones are there, and they're a bit different. But the older war veterans and their widows, and if your uncle went to the war or whatever, so there's a lot of good people there, and I try my best to work when I can, but we only get one full day off a week. And the last thing I feel like doing is a nursing shift because my shifts are, 7 till 3 or 2 till 10 p.m. And it does knock me around a little bit. My coach knows when I've been to work, he can tell that I'm tired and have bags under my eyes. And he's like, did you work on the weekend? And you kind of feel a bit guilty, but I think it's really important for me because it does give me perspective. It reminds me, I'm not just a rower. I also have a nursing degree. And I know I'm a good nurse. I like looking after people and caring for people, and it kind of it just keeps me grounded, and I like that. It gives me just that perspective that it gives me. It really like the training sessions we're doing and the ergos and the gym stuff. It's all relative, but when I'm looking after people that are palliative care or, with loved ones that are about to lose someone that they really, really care about, it kind of just makes you realize how lucky and how grateful I am to be doing and to have the opportunity that I do have with rowing. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess because I was watching you and you chatted to Sarah Cook on
Yeah.
earlier this year, and you talked then about trying to do nursing and rowing. I know you're not doing that now, but at one stage you were doing rowing training in the morning and nursing in the evenings and afternoon.
Yeah, so before I before I got into the training center and made the Australian team, there was a point in time where I met with John Keogh, my current coach, and he kind of told me what I'd need to do to make the national team, and if I'd even like it. He invited me out to watch a training session, and I went to the Crash Bees in Boston and did that indoor comp, and it all kind of unfolded from that, and I had to have a bit of a think, and I had to talk to my dad and just figure out, do I want to do it? Do it like it's a big commitment for somebody that, I have bills, I can't just turn around. I don't come from a super wealthy family or any of that. I have to support myself, and really, there was just a lot to weigh up basically. Yeah. And I just thought, how am I going to make this work? Because I have to still work. I'm going to have to train pretty hard to make this national team. Like, it's not just club rowing, but also kind of where do you even start? So I made a few phone calls, and one of the girls who randomly did a season at my surf club, she was rowing at UTS, and I just gave her a call, and she gave me the number to a coach and spoke to him. And before I knew it, I was down there, and I went for, I think, a 16K row in a pair, and I was so bad. I still have footage of it. It was a terrible row. I feel so bad for the girl that I was rowing with. But I thought 16 kilometers, oh my gosh, that's a long way. Compared to what we do now, it's nothing. But I got hooked pretty quickly. There was a really awesome team down at UTS, had some great coaches down there. And I have a lot of time and a lot of respect for all of them down there. And then I just kind of thought, how am I going to make this work? So I actually tried to resign from my job. And I just thought, you know what, I've saved a bit of money. I'm going to be able to do this. And I kind of gave myself an 8-month period where I was like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. But my workplace they were so good with me. And my general manager at the time, she kind of said, come in for a meeting. And I didn't even think about it. I mean, I was 24. I didn't really know much about workplaces and all that. I just kind of showed up, did my shift and left. And she's like, why don't you go casual? And I thought, why don't I go casual? I can do that. So I just went casual, and I ended up working. I still worked a lot. I was still doing it 40-hour weeks. I just kind of broke it up a little bit. So I'd give myself, because we don't row on Thursday mornings in club, so I gave myself all of Thursday off and just kind of used that as my Sunday. But then I would work on a Sunday, because in Australia on Saturdays and Sundays we get penalty rates. So I get more bang for my buck working on a Sunday than on a Thursday. So I just kind of manipulated it in a way that worked for me. And even being casual, I can call up last minute and cancel my shift if I just needed a bit more rest. And yeah, it was tough, I got to say. Like, I was getting up, because UTS is quite far away from my house. It's a good 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
And for me, who was living in this Coleroy Narrabeen bubble, which was like 5 kilometers anywhere I needed to go, it'd take me 5 minutes. But to drive 45 minutes, I'd have to leave at 4:15 in the morning, drive to UTS. We were on the water at 5 or 5:15, do a 20K row, go for a run around the bay, get in my car, drive to the gym, do a gym session, go straight to work 2 till 10 p.m. And I'd repeat that day after day. So it was a bit of a grind. And I remember calling my auntie, Shelley. She lives in Hawaii now, the one that, the kayaker.
Wow.
And I just said to her, I was like, Shell, I just don't know how I can keep doing this. Like I see photos of myself and I just looked so hollow. Like I was just like the color of me and I just always looked tired. And there were so many times where I thought I was going to crash my car because I was just so tired driving. And I just said to Shell, I was like, oh, how do I do it? Like I can't train as hard as these girls and they're in the training center and, you know, they get 10 hours plus sleep a night and I'm struggling. I'm lucky if I get 5 hours of sleep. And so we just had a bit of a chat and she just said something to me that was really important, that it was like, you actually don't need to train anymore. You just need to train better. So whatever you do, just be really smart with how you do it and just train when you're doing that session, just make sure you do it as best you can. And it's so simple, but it made so much sense and it just made me kind of refocus and kind of keep my eye on the prize. And I mean, there were a lot of tears, there were a lot of chats. There were some days where I just could not get out of bed. I don't think I missed one rowing session though from in the lead up to, yeah, I was so focused and just so when you have a goal and you just really want to achieve it. And really it's amazing what you can push your body through, but it's just your mind. It really, that's what I find. It really does come down to, what's in between your ears.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hear somewhere that you find it difficult to say no?
Yes, I do. I'm a bit of a sucker for that. My friends all, well, I don't think people take advantage of me, but I don't know, I guess I like to help where I can. I find it difficult to say no to working shifts because I won't use, well, sometimes I call it my prostitute gene, like what will you do for money? But I shouldn't use that term. But yeah, I do struggle to say no to a work shift. And it's mainly because yes, of course the money's great, but I like seeing the people there, and giving the oldies a cuddle. And if I can leave my shift and they've got a smile on their face, my job's done. So I get a lot of joy out of that. Even this morning, I get out of bed and I go down to my surf club and help out with the junior rowers. I'm like, I don't have to do that, but I want to. And I don't know if I don't like saying no. I just don't like to miss an opportunity to help, is probably a better way to put it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're an amazing woman in terms of just talking through that schedule. I guess while you got the energy, while you're young, and what are you now? You're in your mid-late 20s, Georgie?
27.
Oh, that's so young. So
thank you.
while you're that age, you can do that. So I kind of wanted to ask you about the whole surf skiing, surf rowing community, because I think we've got a bit of that here in the UK, but nothing like as strong as in Australia. Was the surf ski thing like a surfboard where you wear a belt and you go out to the waves like that?
Sort of. A surf ski is more like a kayak. So you sit on top of it. They're really tippy. More tippy than a single scull or any of that, just because you're sitting on top and you've just got a paddle and it just kind of slits underneath you. Very, very fun for catching waves. One day a few of my mates and I down at Manly, we took our skis out and I snapped my ski in half because you go down these massive waves and they just pop up and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a dangerous sport as well because, and that's what I love about the surf, right? Yeah. It's so unpredictable. You have no idea kind of what's going to happen. And yes, okay, the best person in the race, 9 times out of 10, they'll be in the top 3, but they don't always win, which is what I love. The underdog always has a shot, and I love that, especially with surf boats. The surf boat is so unpredictable. There's some amazing races. If you jump on YouTube and type in surf boat racing at the Aussies or whatever, like there's some really, really awesome races where the favorites are in the final and they just get hit by a wave and the boat rolls over. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I remember at my first World Championships, one of the girls was like, "You don't seem very nervous." I'm like, well, I'm not really that nervous because there's no 10-foot waves coming at me. Like, we've just got to get from A to B as fast as possible. I'm more nervous about the pain because I know how much we push ourselves and how much we can make it hurt. So the actual race, the result, you just perform your best on the day, and the result kind of will speak for itself, I guess.
And it's interesting, how much, you're still embedded in that culture. You talked about your day to day going down there, but your sort of most memorable race is still a surfboat race with your crewmates from the club.
Yeah, I mean, in the Stillwater, that's only been the last 3 years of my life. And that was when I was 24. So there's a whole period of my life where I've had some really amazing experiences, and winning the Aussie titles, unless you're in surf club and unless you're in like you understand surf boats, it is so hard to win. It's only we were in the under 23 division, so it's not even winning the opens, but
yeah,
it's so hard to do. And you're with 3 of your best mates, your sweep, who's your coach as well as your mentor, as well as everything. He's there as well. He does all the training sessions with you. He's trying to do his best. He can complete. It's usually a boy. It's usually a male, but
yeah,
I mean, he could miss the boy where you do a boy turn, and that can you lose the race. So he's got to be on. The 4 of you have to be on. The conditions have to be perfect, or if they're not perfect, you have to row the conditions really well. And I think that was just a very it is the most memorable race, because it's where I've come from, Martin, and I never want to lose sight of that. It's the core of who I am, and I love the surf, and they're still 3 of my very, very best mates. And yeah, whenever I catch up with them and we talk about it, I still get goosebumps.
wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I think talking to you there, I'm kind of getting a genuine sense that you love what you do.
well, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love it.
Well, that's really interesting, because I think part in the British squad there has been, I think maybe particularly with the guys, a sort of mentality of I'm sacrificing my life, I'm putting my life on hold while I'm doing this rowing, and the language of sacrifice has been one that's been used quite a lot. But I don't get that sense with you.
I think the word sacrifice, John Keogh said to me one time, my coach, he said, it's not a sacrifice, it's a choice. And that's so true. Like, okay, yeah, you might be 10 years behind your mates who are getting married and buying houses and having kids and all that. But like, what's the rush? I'm not in a rush. And I've also done a little bit of work, and I think knowing what my workplace is like and knowing what I'm doing right now, I can tell you what I'd rather be doing full time.
Yeah.
When we're out on the Nepean River, 10 Ks up the river, and you can hear the birds. It's a beautiful day. There's no wind. It's just you, the crew you're in, your coach. Like it's pretty amazing. And like there's, traffic. Oh, I don't know if you've been to Sydney much, Martin, but the traffic in Sydney sucks. And we often say like you'd hate to be sitting on the M4 driving into Sydney in that traffic, because it's just, yeah, it's what we do is we're very, very lucky. And I'm not just saying that because we get good support and because someone's told me to say that. Like, I genuinely believe that we are very, very lucky. And I'm so grateful that, like, it sounds like it was kind of like a quite a progressive pathway for me, but I had to work super hard, and I'm pretty happy to sit back and enjoy where I am right now.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I think one of the things, I mean, you talked about helping the kids with the ergometer this morning down at the surf club. And of course, that was something that was part of your life when you were surf boat rowing before you got into your own community.
I mean, when I was rowing a surf boat, I had no idea what I was capable of. And obviously I have quite a big engine, I'm pretty good on the ergo and pretty handy in a boat, and you stick me in the middle of an 8 and I'll just go as hard as I can, and I'll keep going until someone tells me to stop. But I didn't go to a school where rowing was even an option. Like, I went to a public school. Sport for us was optional. So I didn't even have
Australia.
Yeah, it's very unusual I think there's myself and Leah Saunders, and I'm not sure about the boys, but there's only 2 people that didn't go to private schools. It's quite a prestigious sport in Australia. And that's why I love giving back to the surf club, because you just don't know who you're going to stumble across. Maybe someone wants to give Stillwater rowing a crack, and they don't know the pathway. They don't know the opportunities that they could have. So yeah, and I like to give back to my surf club. Like, the whole thing is based around volunteers, and I'm more, they've done a lot for me. They support me. And one thing I do love is just going down to the surf club on a Sunday morning and having a coffee with, whoever's just sitting next to me. Like it's just such a beautiful community, and they nurture you. And yeah, I honestly think that surf club is one of the things that really saved me. And one of my very, very good friends, Naomi Flood, she is also an Olympian. She went to Rio and to London in kayaking.
Wow.
So she has a similar kind of pathway to me, where she was an Iron Woman, so she was an amazing Iron Woman. She was in the Nutrigrain series. I'm not sure if you know much about that, but basically did all the board ski swim events on the beach.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And she wanted to do elite sport. Like, she was similar, big engine, big girl, and she super strong, and has it in her head. She's a mongrel. She's who you want in US. She'd be a great rower. But she kind of took me on when I was 16, when I first went down to the surf club, because I don't know, my family, the way I was brought up isn't as clean as what a lot of people kind of probably went through. But mum and dad separated, and I was living with my grandma, and it didn't really have such a like stable environment. And Naomi was just so good with me, and she looked after me a lot and nurtured me a lot. And when she was in Rio at the games, she was messaging me, and she was like, "Gee, you have to get into rowing. I'm with all the rowers right now, and I just know that you will be so good at this sport." And at the time I was surfboat rowing, and it was just that little, she just kind of gave me that little kick, and I was like, and that's soon after is when I did the indoor comp. And then then John called me, and then this Ron Batt, who works for Rowing Australia, called me as well, and that's when I ended up in Boston doing the ergo comp, and it all just kind of went on from there. But just that one person, Naomi, giving back to somebody else in the surf club, just opened up so many doors for me, and now I'm here sitting talking to you.
Wow, that's amazing.
So you just don't know who you're going to stumble across down there.